Hello. It's Jackie Jones from Parent Plus, and I thought I would just pop on and do a bit of a live. If you got any questions, you can post in the comments, but they're probably not going to show up. I've got my phone here, so I'll be able to see if anybody's commenting while I'm live, and hopefully I will be able to answer them while I'm live. But technology, as you will find if you get to know me, is not my strongest point. So yes, I'm trying to go on my Parent Plus page on my phone as I speak. And as always, things aren't working according to plan. Page, go on my Parent Plus page. Yeah, so I did put a post up earlier on, so you can comment underneath that if you've got any questions, or you can comment underneath here and just say hello. So I wanted to just pop on really and do the first of what is going to be a regular live Q&A every Thursday at about 7 o'clock. I'll post the time just in case it changes, because we're in a world at the moment where things change on a daily basis. So I'm going to give myself a bit of a break. I plan on doing it at 7 o'clock every Thursday, but if I need to change, then I will notify you and let you know. But you can always just post questions in the group and I will answer them on a Thursday, even if you can't watch it live. I plan on posting it afterwards anyway. So, as I said, I'm Jackie. I did do a post earlier on about how Parent Plus started and how it's come to be just little old me that's doing this. We started this back in 2015. There was myself and Sari Taylor and Sue Cleaver, who some of you might know better as Eileen of Coronation Street. Myself and Eileen did our psychotherapy training together in Manchester, so I've known Sue for quite a while. And Sari I met before that. Sari I've known for eons. It feels like eons. It's not really. It's probably been about 8 or 9 years. And Sari is a transactional analyst as well. And she kind of got me involved in all of this. So the three of us set Parent Plus up. Sue had to leave in the early days because of work commitments. And more recently, Sari's personal business has took off. God love her. I'm 100% in support of what Sari's doing. She's actually in the Manchester Evening News today. She's done a video around anxiety that a lot of famous people are on. She mixes with those sort of people now. There's people from Coronation Street and various other people who have all done a lovely little snippet of a video about being anxious, but also the good stuff. So you can be anxious and a brilliant mum, or be anxious and good at making lasagna and chips. Anxiety doesn't need to define who we are. So she's done a wonderful video on that. So she's quite busy at the moment. So she has decided to take a back step from Parent Plus. And Parent Plus has always been a pull for me. Even when, businesses took me away from it, I still come in and post and comment and like and things, because it's kind of where my heart is. I trained as a nursery nurse back a long time ago. I think it was in the late 80s probably, when I qualified as a nursery nurse. That was when I first started working with families and children. I worked in some schools. I lived in Stafford at the time, so I worked in some schools around Stafford that weren't getting very good Ofsted results. So we set up a parenting course, preschool course, helping parents with the children's preschool skills and things like that. So I've worked with families and children probably getting on for 30 plus years now. 30 years, so somewhere around there anyway. And from there, I started tutoring for Stafford College, and again, it was based in the community. It was around parenting and helping parents with their children, behaviour, those sorts of things. So that's where my heart is. I became a foster carer in 2001, 2002 maybe, and fostered for probably about 12 years, mainly teenage boys. Did have some younger children, did some respite, had some children with special needs. I resigned from fostering probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. It was starting to impact on my son more than what I was comfortable with, let's put it that way. So just before he started high school, He's going into his final year at school now. So it's probably about 5 years ago we decided to resign. But we had probably around 30 children in all came through our doors, whether that was long term. I think the longest we had was 9 years. We had some shorter term ones. We had some respite. Lots of things. So my background has always been connected with children and families. And as a psychotherapist, I still see parents with their children, or I see children on their own, or I see parents. So yeah, there's always been a pull for Parent Plus. So I wanted to revamp it, to not necessarily rebrand it. I don't know whether you can see, I've got my mug, my Parent Plus mug. I don't want to change the logos and things like that, but I do want to maybe give it a bit of a different vibe by being more present, doing more lives, answering more questions. I've recently been made a grandmother by my darling daughter, little Alfie, who's just turned 2. So it's kind of drawn me back into the psychotherapy part and the development of children and the normal progression routes that they go through. So it's kind of reignited my interest in the psychological side of parenting and children and how we are what we are. So yeah, that's kind of a bit about me and why I wanted to do it. So you will see a lot more of me. I'm sure Sari will pop on every now and then when she's around. I'll get her on and we can maybe do some live chats and talk about what Sari's up to. We both are doing more to do with the 3 principles now, as well as the psychotherapy. So I might talk a little bit about that and introduce that along the way. So I have had a couple of questions, which I will endeavour to just skirt over. If you do ask any questions and you want me to keep them confidential, just direct message me them, and obviously I'll keep them confidential. I can answer them, not even saying the sex of the child. I can just say a child and a concerned parent. But one of the things that I have been asked is, because they're starting to look at lifting the lockdown slightly and children returning to school, parents asking me whether there's anything that they can do if their child is feeling anxious about going back to school. And one of the first things I would say is, where are you and how are you feeling? Because it's really important as parents that we take into account where we are and what our state of mind is. I know for me, my son's 15. I've got older children, but my youngest is 15. And depending on where I am, it depends on how I react and respond to the things that he comes with. I can be in a jolly old mood and he can come in and do something annoying and it just, over my head, doesn't really bother me. He can come in and do exactly the same thing the day after and I'm not in a very good mood and I want to strangle him. That's something else that I want to mention in this group, is that I have a group that's around psychotherapy, and I've kind of always struggled slightly about what my role is as a psychotherapist and how much of me can I take into the therapy room with clients. And I always want to be authentic and real. And I swear somewhat. I'm not, what a lot of people expect from a psychotherapist. But I want this group for me to be authentic. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. I'm 100% behind our motto, which is we are perfectly aware that we're not perfect. So I do blow up with my son. I do fly off the handle. There's no physical stuff involved. I don't believe in corporal punishment with children. I believe in rewarding behaviour, the good stuff, in order to encourage it, as opposed to punishing the bad stuff. That's where my upbringing came from. When I was doing my nursery nursing training, it was very much politically correct. But it's just something that fits right with me. I've never used corporal punishment or hit my children. It's not something I believe in personally. So I'm not even sure where I was going with this now. Oh yes, my son. He'll come in and just annoy me, and it's all more to do with my state of mind, where my state of mind is when he's coming in. So if you're concerned about your children going to school and you yourself are feeling concerned, worried, anxious, overwhelmed, you're overthinking it, then it's important that you ground yourself before you even attempt to talk or discuss things with your children, because kids are really good at picking up behaviour. So that would be the first thing, is for you to look at where you are and if you need any help and support. And again, this group you can offload, you can use it for support of any description. And it's okay for them to be anxious. Feeling anxious or having anxiety is part of being a human being. We need that. It's a reflex, it's a survival mechanism. So we can't get rid of feeling anxiety. And often it comes when we're pushing our comfort zone. The children were quite happy in school and suddenly everything changed. You might have noticed changes in the behaviour when we first were put in lockdown, and they've kind of normalised that a little bit now maybe, and now we're asking them to come out the other side. So their routine, what they've got used to, is going to start changing. Going back to school, I don't know if you, this is something else I often do, is I reflect on how I felt when I was the age of my child. And I don't know whether you can remember being at school and having a week or two off. I don't know, maybe even a couple of days. You might have had a broken leg or something and needed to be in hospital and had a couple of weeks off. Going back to something that was really familiar to you when you've had a break from it for a week or two can really push your comfort zone. So often our children are displaying behaviour because they're trying to communicate something to us. So it's about just being mindful and letting the our children know that it's okay. It's okay to feel a little bit overwhelmed sometimes. It doesn't mean that you can't go to school and feel a little bit overwhelmed. It's not like the two are completely separate and we can't function if we're feeling anxious or worried or upset. We can still function and be upset at the same time. So it's about just exploring things with your children, being curious. The other thing that I often find with parents is that we presume we know what's going on and we don't tend to ask the question. If your child is always feeling a certain way at a certain time, they got PE on a Monday and they're always not feeling very well on a Monday. So if they're not feeling very well on a Monday, we just presume it's because they've got PE. And it's not always the case. So it's about allowing our child the space to talk and to communicate without judgment, without us going in and trying to fix everything and finding solutions for things. It's about them just exploring what's going on for them. So those are the type of things that I'm going to be doing over the coming weeks and months, answering questions to the best of my ability. I'm no expert. I've got this thing about people that call themselves as something expert, because you're the expert on your children. You're the one that lives with them and you're the one there that's going to support them. So a lot of the time I might offer advice through you for your children because obviously I don't have any access to them. So I'm thinking about doing some more activities in here. I posted something up that we did with Alfie where we went on a rainbow walk in the garden and he was picking things of different colours. We tried to do something where we laid on the floor and looked at the clouds and to try and see what animals, but he just ended up jumping on his mum. So these things don't always work out as planned, but again, we're not perfect. So there might be some bloopers on there. I might put some photos on there of the dog or the cat or whatever comes up my back, really. But I want it to be your group. I want you to say what it is that you want more of or what you want less of, and I will hopefully provide whatever it is that you want to. So that's me, Jackie Jones, and I am now the sole person that's doing Parent Plus unless I nab somebody else to come in and help me do it. But other than that, I shall be back on Thursday. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments here and I can come back during the week and answer them. And don't be shy. Just maybe posting there. We have had some new likes. I've done a new newsletter that's gone out. If you haven't signed up, then please go to the top of the page. Not sure which side it is, but at the top of the page and sign up. And there's a little mini mindfulness workbook in there that you can print out and do things with the children. I'm not going to inundate you with emails every day. There'll be one a month, unless there's something that I'm offering free that I'll post in an email and send it to you, or anything that I think might be relevant to what's going on. at the moment. So don't think I'm going to send you a gazillion things. If you've signed up, check your junk box, because sadly I sometimes end up in the junk. What else is there what I want to say? Yeah, so ask away. You can email me. It's jackie@parentplus.co.uk. There's a hyphen in the middle of Parent Plus, otherwise you get through to a loan company. There's a loan company called Parent Plus. So yeah, don't forget the hyphen in the middle. And yeah, I just want you to, share whatever you want to share in the group. That I don't want this to be a judgy group. If anybody's saying things that are quite judgmental, then I will have words, let's say, because we all have good days and bad days. And there is no right or wrong way to parent. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself. Say whereabouts in the world you are. Say how many children you've got. Obviously, this is an open group, so I wouldn't advise posting pictures unless you choose to do that. Because once things go out in internet, they then tend to stay there. I do always check with my daughter before I post anything about my grandson. So yeah, introduce yourself. I'm based in Coppell in Lancashire in the UK. It's a little village. There's one road in and one road out. It's quite quiet usually. Yeah, I used to work in Manchester. In fact, I had to go to Manchester the other day and went into the middle of Manchester. It scares me, big cities. I'm a I want to say country girl. I don't even think I live in the country. It's kind of a little town or a little village that has got fields around it, but I don't class it as being in the country. But I don't like built up places. They scare me. I get lost in multi-story car parks and things like that. So I am a bit of a home bird. But I'm happy to share anything about me. You can ask me questions, personal questions, and I'll just answer them. I've got nothing to hide. And in this group, as I said, I want to be more authentically me. I want to be just a mum. Yes, I might be a trained psychotherapist, but I make mistakes. I cock up, just like the rest of human race does. That's part of being human. And learning from our mistakes and thinking, yeah, that didn't work out so well. Maybe we shouldn't do that one again. So, as I said, that's me. I shall be back every Thursday at 7 o'clock. You can post questions, you can ask, you can offload. If you've got any hints and tips for any other parents, my daughter's recently started potty training. And it's going really well. Very proud of her. And Alfie's just like a duck to water. They have mishaps, of course. But yeah, if you've got any hints and tips about parenting, anything, practical that you want to pass on, or anything that you're struggling with at the moment, then feel free to post. And I'm sure we'll all be very supportive and offer our support, hints and tips. So I shall be back next week, if not before. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.